Good morning. This is Nikachu Merfolk Master, and grab yourself a cup of coffee because we are ready for day 42 of Coffee and MTG with Nikachu. Are you ready for some deck list review, some Q&A, some great Magic discussion? You are in the right place. Let's grab a nice, delicious cup of Magic, whether it's the morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome. Come join me, and let's talk some Magic. Let's have some fun. And I can already see that Monster CC has already been waiting patiently with waves of coffee on his way to get the discussion going. Same thing with M515. Good morning to both of you, and good morning Kyoka 620. Also, good morning to our Odd Parsley 43. Yes, let's grab a delicious cup of coffee. You know I love my coffee. When I got the coffee going, then I get the brain going, and then the day starts. The day moves in the right direction, and I love starting off every single day with all of you fine people. We are going to talk some Magic. You got some questions? Send me the questions. 3 question marks before and 3 question marks after the question, or at Nikachu MTG helps me find the questions in the sea of all the questions that I have to sift through. And just a reminder, if you want to catch me live, if you want to see this all live, just come on down to twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, tentatively at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm warning everyone that the time is going to change soon. Maybe not yet. I'm going to think about it, but maybe by next week we're going to have a different time. Until the end of this week, we're definitely going to be still at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. But I'm going to be having no class in the morning after this week is done. And I can finally actually get a little bit closer to the morning for myself. So we'll see what happens. But just let you know, if you want to come join me live, I'd love to hear from you, hear comments, questions. It's all wonderful. Good morning, Rays 727. Good morning, Siege Sensei. Got some kendo practice in the morning. Feeling great. Awesome. I should also be practicing I got to start exercising a little bit more. Nikachu's been slacking off. I've been prioritizing sleeping over exercising. Good morning, Ashok Onion. Good morning, Monster CC. Hello, Thomas T1980. Hello, Clever Boy 31. Good morning, Dexter Johnson. The stream team. Yes, all of you are part of the stream team. It's like 000 a.m. in Taiwan. The time is perfect for me. Well, that's like nighttime. So if I pull it back a few hours, then you'd be able. You don't have to stay up so late to watch the show, unless you like watching. What's it called? Play the Game. The game show Play. I watch that show with my girlfriend all the time, actually, and it strangely enough, it looks like a sort of a kids show, but it's actually starts at like 10 o'clock p.m. All right, that's no one will know what the hell I'm talking about except for those in Taiwan. But yeah, Play the Game. Love it. Mr. Goo, hello and good morning to all of you. Yeah, join the cycling family. Yes, get up in the morning. My girlfriend has a bike. We don't use it that much, to be honest. We don't use it too much. So yes, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section. 3 question marks before and after the question, or you can add Nikachu MTG. It's all good. What can I say about myself? You know what? I'm pumped. I've been streaming gameplay, and now I'm just getting really excited to play Merfolk. And I guess what it is that I don't have the results that I want. I'm getting like a lot of I'm getting some 2-3s, a lot of 3-2s, some 4-1s, but no 5-0s. And that just motivates me to find the right deck. I mean, I know it's out there, and I don't have it right now, but I can pivot, make some adjustments, and eventually I am going to move into the right direction. So I'm more motivated to actually play some Magic than I have in a very long time. So I'm pumped to play some Magic the Gathering. I don't know about the rest of you. Maybe a lot of you are still in withdrawal because you're like exclusively the paper type of Magic player, and the events aren't running where you are. But I play online, so I'm pumped to play some Magic right now. So Rays 727 says, what are your 3 underrated / underplayed cards in Modern? For me, it's Oath of Nisa, Aven Mind Sensor, and Spell Snare. You want to know I actually have some idea of what I think are really underplayed cards. but maybe it's just because like the metagame's not ready for it. Does anyone know this exists in Modern? Trinisphere. And Trinisphere says, as long as Trinisphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to play costs 3 mana to play. It only sees play, it does see play now in Eldrazi Tron, like they put it in the sideboard. So it is seeing play, but frankly, I feel like this card could see a lot more play in Modern, especially given the fact that there is a lot of decks that try to be mana efficient. Like any deck that is shut off by Chalice of the Void also can just get shut off by this card, because now your spells are like too expensive to cast. So there are a lot of decks that I think would get hurt by Trinisphere. Sees no play at all, no play whatsoever. Or I wouldn't say no play whatsoever. It does see play in Eldrazi Tron, in the Eldrazi Tron sideboard, but I figure it would see more play overall. But I don't know, it just doesn't. Another card I think, and you see me playing it now, is Damping Matrix. Like this is a card that I think has been waiting in the weeds. Like its ability is super powerful. All right, 3 mana, not impossible to get to. Activated abilities of artifacts and creatures can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. There are so many decks based around activated abilities. I mean, you look at Devoted Devastation, everything in that deck is an activated ability. Even their answers to artifacts and enchantments are activated abilities. So when you play Damping Matrix, they can do nothing. You bring this in against, for example, Urza. You shut off Emery, you shut off the Urza. Urza can only, basically is this 4 mana creature that put a body on the battlefield, and the artifacts turn into mana. But aside from that, they cannot activate any of their artifacts. Good, and even if they have artifacts in play, like Engineered Explosives, that's shut off too by Damping Matrix. There's a lot of, I don't know, of course, like Hardened Scales Affinity hates this card. So there's actually, I think, a lot of decks that Damping Matrix hits. So I think this is a very interesting card that sees very, very little play in Modern. And if I were to take a third one, what is a third? And you asked for a card, underplayed cards in Modern. I think maybe Deprive is I know we play Deprive as a Merfolk deck, but this seems like it's underplayed, underutilized, it just doesn't see as much play as it should. I don't want to say just Deprive. Like there's some other what's it called? What is the blue-red Planeswalker that came out in Throne of Eldraine? You know, it's like the Oko for blue-red. I think that is a very underrated Planeswalker. I mean, yeah, the Royal Scions. Royal Scions is underrated. Royal Scions has a similar situation as Oko, where it immediately +1s to 6. So you already know that it's going to be very difficult to kill the Royal Scions when it comes out. And, you know, looting, not too bad. Looting every single turn is like basically scrying every turn. But it can give creatures +2/+0 in first strike and trample until end of turn. So it like turns anything into a reasonable size threat. And the ultimate is like pretty game breaking. You draw 4 cards, and when you do, it just deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. So it's pretty good. I think Royal Scions is also a very underplayed card. Maybe hasn't found the right home yet, but I don't think people like have tried, because when you think blue, you think control, and then maybe control can't use this all that well. They have better options, but maybe there's like a tempo deck, or even like maybe, I know Death Shadow tried to play this. Death Shadow seems like a very good fit for this card, but if they couldn't utilize it, then maybe it has to be something else. But the point is, the this I think is underplayed and probably could see a lot more play. So that was a very interesting question for anyone who is curious about what I think is underplayed in Modern. Trinisphere, I'm surprised that doesn't see more play. Maybe it just needs the right artifact deck and it doesn't exist yet. Or maybe Tron needs to play it or something. Like they can't play Chalice of the Void. Tron cannot play Chalice of the Void because it shuts off their maps and stuff like that. But probably they are in a position to use Trinisphere. I don't think that would hurt them that much. So maybe it's just and like just like Eldrazi Tron uses Trinisphere, maybe the regular Tron can use Trinisphere. So great question, great start to the morning. You know, welcome to everyone who's joining us this morning. I'm Nikachu, and in this Coffee and MTG, we review deck lists. You have deck lists to submit. Give me a link, and we'll review your deck. We do Q&A. We talk Magic. Let's have some great discussions here in this wonderful and delicious coffee morning. Love the taste of coffee. Just invested in Stoneforge Mystic. So if Wizards prints another really good equipment, what are the chances of Stoneforge Mystic getting banned? 0%. There's no chance Stoneforge Mystic is getting banned. The results are in. Stoneforge Mystic is super fair in Modern. Everyone, I don't want to say everyone, like it was super divided whenever there's a discussion about Stoneforge Mystics. Like, oh, you can't unban Stoneforge Mystic unless you ban Batterskull. That's the only way you can make it fair. Stoneforge Mystic is too powerful. Look at what it does in Legacy. It doesn't even really do anything in Legacy. It's a totally fair card in Legacy. And we have way more removal in Modern. And that's basically what happened. Like, Stoneforge Mystic is a completely fair card. And I don't even know what the ceiling is. Like, I don't even think Umezawa's Jite should be banned. I think you can take that off the ban list. It's not even going to... I don't think it's going to do anything. With the amount of artifact hate and the amount of... What's it called? So we have artifact hate and also just removal, the sheer amount of removal. Stoneforge Mystic is a very fair card. And I have no idea how it would become busted. So, if anything, they would just ban the equipment... like they banned Umezawa's Jite, they went on ban Stoneforge Mystic. So your investment is safe. I would say your investment is very safe. How do you feel about Astrolabe making the jump start doggy land basically unplayable in Modern/Legacy? So this is a great discussion because there's a lot of people who say that the snow lands basically render all the other lands obsolete. This is true to a very large extent. But people are calling for the banning of Astrolabe as if that is going to solve the problem. So let's look at Snow-Covered Island. So right now, oh, let's get a nicer one. I can get a nicer island. Modern Horizons, yes. I don't know if this, what nicer is debatable. So, especially recently for the Merfolk deck, amongst all other decks, basically if you play islands, you have to run the snow-covered islands because versions of Urza and Snow Control are so prominent that if you do not play a snow-covered land, you're basically just telling your opponent immediately, I am not a Snow Control deck. I am not an Urza deck. So if I am neither of those two archetypes, what on earth could be still playing a non-snow covered island? Like, I love the Unstable Island. I don't know if I can find it here. Nope. I guess I have to just look up island. Oh man, this is going to be impossible. Can I very comfortably find the set that I'm looking for? Finding a lot of cards that are not my island. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, you like this one. Let's say this is your favorite island. But it's not snow covered. All right, so when you play this land, you have already telegraphed to your opponent, I'm not a Snow Control deck. I'm not an Urza deck. So what could I be? And basically what it will narrow me down to is like basically either maybe it's the one of basic in a humans deck or your Merfolk deck. And it could be maybe a few other things, but the point is it's not one of those dominant archetypes, and they can already like wipe them out of the possibility. That is not good. That is not good. You don't want to narrow down your archetype on turn one if you go island and pass. So basically what it forces everyone to do is to play with snow-covered basics. But here's the deal. This problem has existed ever since snow-covered lands existed, period. But the thing is, it just wasn't practically relevant for blue decks until now. But this was already a problem for burn decks, even though they didn't realize it. Like, way before Modern Horizons came out, was printed, I had a discussion with Andrew Day 2 Dryden about this, and I said, you're free rolling playing snow mountains, snow-covered mountains. And he owns 1 million of these. He owns 1 million of these because he's free rolling on it. Why? Because there was the only other snow deck that existed before Modern Horizons was Scred Red. And if Day 2 Dryden plays Snow-Covered Mountain Pass, he at least gives himself the 0.1% chance of getting his opponent to think he's Scred Red from turn 1. Or maybe it's higher than that. I don't know. Maybe it's 3% or something like that. But basically, he's free rolling, confusing his opponent. Because if he plays basic Mountain Pass, then he cannot be Scred Red. So from a practical point of view, Burn was always in this situation, even before Modern Horizons came out. Now, there's a lot of people that want to say that we should ban Astrolabe because we will get rid of this problem. Once we ban Astrolabe, Snow-Covered Island is not necessary anymore. And we can all go back to our basic lands. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's going to happen because I think Icefang Quaddle is still going to be a very good payoff. Hope I'm spelling Icefang correctly. There we go. Icefang Quaddle. Flash. Enters the battlefield, draws a card. But it has Death Touch as long as you control at least 3 other snow permanents. It's going to be harder to enable this, but not that much harder. Like, they'll get to this by turn, basically by turn 4, probably by turn 3 pretty often. But it will, I still think this card is going to see play in Modern. And if this card still sees play and people are still playing the snow lands, then banning Astrolabe still forces us to play Snow Islands. And what I want to say is that this problem existed prior to Modern Horizons. It just didn't exist for any other art. It just didn't exist to any other part of the color pie except red, because the only deck that utilizes the snow basics was Scred Red. That's it. White, blue, black, and green did not have any snow synergy. So the only way, in my opinion, to go back to basic lands... Oops, I'm too far. The only way to start playing with basic island again is Wizards has to put some punishment on specifically snow-colored lands. Like, there needs to be like a snow-covered Blood Moon, snow-covered Back to Basic, snow-covered Chalice of the Void, snow-covered Dampening Sphere, Damping Matrix. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but there needs to actually be literally a punishment for snow-covered stuff. Because so long as they print other snow synergies, this problem will exist forever in perpetuity. It doesn't matter. Astrolabe will never be the... banning Astrolabe won't fix the problem. You would have to ban all snow cards. But we know they're not going to do that. They'll never do that. You'll always be free rolling on a snow-covered land so long as snow-covered something exists, so long as snow synergy exists, so long as Icefang Quaddle exists, so long as Scred exists. So the only way we got to do it is to Wizards has to print an incentive to not run. Wizards has to print a punishment to the snow-covered lands to encourage us to, so that we're not free rolling on this anymore. You know, if they print snow-covered Back to Basics, then it's like, okay, I don't want the splash damage to this that's going to happen against the Urza decks and stuff like that. I'm going to go back to my normal islands. But I think that's the only way to do it. So I know there's a lot of discussion about this because it is a shame. It's a shame that we have to play these. We have to play these lands. Like, I want to play my Unstable Island. I want my Unstable Island, Scryfall. I'm going to get my Unstable Island. There we go. I have like a ton of foils of these. I love it. I love this land. I'm in love with this land. I love the birds. I love the shades of blue. I love the waves of the water. I love the jagged rocks. I like the mist and the mystery of this land. I want to go back to this land, but I can't. Because practically speaking, snow-covered islands are a free roll in terms of information and everything else. But I don't genuinely believe that if we ban Astrolabe that this problem goes away, because there is still Icefang Quaddle, and that will still be enough of a reason So long as it sees play, and I have reason to believe that it will, because it still goes with Uro. Like any deck playing Uro might as well still play with Icefang Quaddle. It'll help them ramp into the Snowlands to get them into play. So long as Icefang Quaddle exists, we still have to play snow-covered lands. They have to ban all the snow synergy, but I don't think they're going to do that. Over time, they're going to print more, and everyone will have to run snow basics, or they print punishment. They print punishment to the snow lands. Great question. Great question. I think this is a concern a lot of people have, because there's a lot of great arts that just got completely washed away because of the snow synergy. Do we do deck reviews? Absolutely. Just submit the deck review and I'll get to there. Good morning, Ramajer. How can I improve this jank? All right, we got some jank to look at. No problem. Let's go check out some jank. Modern Belcher jank. So combo decks are not my forte, but let's see what we can do here. So, okay, what's the win condition? I think, okay, so Goblin Charbelcher, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. So I'm guessing you don't have many. It deals damage equal to the number of non-land cards revealed this way to target creature or player. If the revealed land card was a mountain, Goblin Charbelcher deals double that damage instead. Put the revealed cards on the bottom of your library in any order. So I've seen a deck like this in the past where the objective was it had enough lands to cast all the spells. I did see a list like this before. I mean, it was in like queues and I never saw it competitively, but their plan was they had like, I don't know, 8 or 10 lands, and they had enough cards to cast to find all the lands out of their library, and after that, they play Goblin Charbelcher and win, because they didn't have any lands left after they searched them all out. So how is your deck operating? Now, whoa, this is going the Wall of Omens route, I see. All right, Path to Exile, Ghostly Prison, which is like a soft answer to preventing people from attacking. Endless Horizons. When it comes into play, search your library for any number of Plains cards and remove them from the game. Then shuffle your library. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a card you own removed from the game with Endless Horizons into your hand. Okay, so you can basically get rid of all the lands. Lotus Bloom, Charbelcher, Arkham's Astrolabe. You have 24 lands. Everything is a Plains. All right, good. Wrath of God, Rampant Growth, Cultivate. So first thing that I'm thinking in my mind is, like, I don't know if Wrath of God is the best one. Supreme Verdict might be the best one, but then you have to go Bant. Going Bant doesn't seem bad. Cultivate. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. I don't know if that's necessary. So my question is, how do we get to the Charbelcher? So Charbelcher is not a bad way of winning the game. Charbelcher is an artifact. Endless Horizons, Ghostly Prison. So I'm not okay. So I do have one good idea. You play Karn the Great Creator, and you play this. You're already playing it like a prison deck. Let's take it to a higher prison level, and let's play Karn the Great Creator, because Karn, you can play with 3 Charbelchers and 4 Karn the Great Creator, which can help find which can find the 4th Charbelcher from your sideboard, which means now you have 7 copies of Karn the Great Creator in your deck to help win. But I guess the harder part is, how do we get when Endless Horizons comes into play, search your library. So this is harder to find, because we still need to find this before we actually combo off. So first step, make this more, because we don't have consistency. It appears that you are completely dependent on drawing the pieces, which is not where you want to be. So first step, play Karn the Great Creator, and then Endless Horizons. Does anyone know any like good like enchantment? Aren't there enchantment tutors in this game? Are there not enchantment tutors in Modern? I don't know. So Idyllic Tutor, does that work? Because we need, like, the problem is the consistency. Like, this deck just as is doesn't work, because you're just hoping to top deck into this, you have to top deck first this into this, which is not where you want to be at all. Idyllic Tutor. Is this where we want to be? Search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. There are a lot of... is there a better way of doing this? This is just like 3 mana tap out. I don't like the idea of that. So, Treasure Mage? What's Treasure Mage do? When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card. That doesn't work. It's only 6 or greater. Belcher is an artifact, but it costs less than 6. That's 6 or greater. You hate this art? This art's nice. I think it's fine. I'm not in love with Idyllic Tutor because it's 3 mana tap out. Is there anything else? Like, I mean, there's cards that, like, there's so many enchantment synergies. Oh, no, this is not, this is enchantment? No, this is an enchantment. And there's the bout. When it comes into play, search your library for any number of plains cards, remove them from the game, then shuffle your library at the beginning of your... Is there not, like, a card that exiles all land cards from your or is it non-land cards from your deck? I'm not sure. Anyway, Karn the Great Creator is the first step to improving this deck. Ensnaring Bridge would also be another step, because I think you're going to empty your hand, and I think Ensnaring Bridge is a better lock than, say, Ghostly Prison. Ghostly Prison says your opponents can attack. Ensnaring Bridge says, no, you cannot attack, period. And I don't think... Your hand might be a little clunky, but... it's hard to tell. Maybe Ghostly Prison is a better fit for this deck. I'm not sure. But I can start off with Karn the Great Creator. I don't know how we finish it off. Maybe it's Idyllic Tutor. But I think this is a clunky answer. I'm not impressed with this. Although, if you Idyllic Tutor, you can find cards like Ghostly Prison to give yourself some time. And then maybe there are other things you can find with Karn the Great Creator, by the way. Because like Karn the Great Creator has like an incredible toolbox to help slow down the game, which might... Maybe there are artifacts that help you find enchantments. So I would say include Karn the Great Creator as a start. Cards that I think you can do without... Wall of Omens is actually okay. It's better in a deck that can blink it, though. Path to Exile, I don't really like this card. Maybe that's a sideboard card, because I think you want to lean on cards like this to help you. Things like Ghostly Prison. This is like low impact in the grand scheme of things. You should try harder to like lock your opponent out. And I'm not entirely sure how good these cards are. Rampant Growth and things like this, because I think 2 mana is fine. Rampant Growth is fine because that ramps you into 4 mana for Karn. 3 mana is not as good because this doesn't get to get you to the 4 mana part where you want to play Endless Horizons and stuff like that. So I think the 2, like even Explore might be better than Cultivate, in my opinion. But anyway, hope that was valuable to you, and I hope that helps. Thanks for submitting the deck. But just to let you know, I did see a Charbelcher deck. It had very few lands in it, and it played a bunch of cards like creatures that helped dig the lands out of the deck. And then when they found Charbelcher, they had no lands left in their deck, and they just went through their entire library and then killed their opponent. So thank you very much for the deck submission. Nikachu, how was Game 5 for the second league yesterday? It was great. I won. I can't remember what it was against, but I won. So I finished 4-1 with that mono blue deck. It was awesome. It was awesome. Mikey J asks, on a scale of morally bankrupt to totally taboo, how wrong is Astrolabe's existence? It's mixed. You know, I'm not heavy against Astrolabe because it's enabling archetypes that saw no play before. All right. So there's like modern's environment is so weird. There are people like Blood Moon sucks. Blood Moon shouldn't exist. How do we design cards to help fight against Blood Moon? All right, Wizards creates it with like Arkham's Astrolabe, and now people are like, oh, Blood Moon doesn't work anymore. Oh, there's all these stupid snow strategies I hate. There's now Simic control and Bant control and Sultai control. These never saw play before. All right, we never saw Sultai control or Bant for the last, I don't know, 8 years of Modern. Finally, they have like some presence in the metagame, a lot, replacing things like, especially like Esper and especially Jeskai. So like those other parts of the color pie, they had their time in the day. They had their chance. The other parts of the color pie never had a chance. Too weak to Blood Moon, in my opinion. And now, now that they are on top, people are crying for the banning of Astrolabe. I actually think Astrolabe's presence is fine. I genuinely think it's fine. Does that mean it's going to stay around for forever? Maybe not. Maybe it will prove to be like too powerful, and they'll still ban Astrolabe. And I actually am in the how do I put it? I don't want to say I'm in the camp of anything, but I think the community is upset enough about Astrolabe that somewhere down like 2 years down the road they'll probably ban it. Today, I think it is fair, but Astrolabe does have the potential to scale to broken eventually, like how it got banned in Pauper. I think could be a similar situation for Modern eventually. If there's a deck that can abuse and blink this thing enough, it's going to get banned. I honestly do think it has the potential to get banned. I don't think we're there yet, but it has the potential. What's a decent Moto Elo? I would say a decent somewhere between 1730 to 1760 is decent. And I would say very good, like very good, is over 1800. If you can hold that, over 1800 is definitely good. So like I would say middle 1700s is a decent Moto Elo, and I would say if so you want to be about that's you. I would say you're a pretty good player if you're around 1750, and then if you are really good if you're over 1800, and then you're basically one of the best on the sites if you can crack 1900. For anyone that loves Elo. Oh, we're having great questions. We're having a great discussion today. A lot of awesome stuff here. It's awesome. I'm gonna take a sip of coffee for that. Missed a great conversation in the Discord today on You missed a great conversation on Astrolabe? I guess I missed it. Maybe it was something I should have saw. It didn't tamper with my opinion though. What's our best sideboard option against Amulet Titan? So Amulet Titan, your best cards are Blood Moon. Here's all the best cards against Amulet Titan. Number 1, their greatest fear, Blood Moon. They can't beat this card. Well, I mean, technically they can, but like it's hard. It's too hard. Non-basic lands or mountains. They can basically concede from there. And that's the thing. There's not enough Blood Moon right now in the format. There's just not enough Blood Moon. Number 2. Ashiok Dream Render. This Planeswalker, I underestimated this Planeswalker. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It actually is a big deal. Because if spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause their controller to search their library. If they can't search their library, they may not be able to find their Primeval Titan. They depend on things like Teleria West into Summoner's Pact, which they can't do anymore because they're not allowed to search their library. And then even if they have Primeval Titan, they play it, they can't search their library. They got no synergy. So Ashiok just renders the the most high impact cards of their deck useless. Just don't minus. That would be useless. That would just makes Ashiok weaker for no reason. Card number 3, Damping Sphere. This card got a lot weaker recently, but it's still pretty good. Because they're now playing like more Field of the Dead, Valakut, a lot less of those Karoo lands, but they still play Karoo lands. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it'll tap for just colorless instead. So they can't even tap for green or black mana or red or whatever the hell they want. And on top of that, each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that player casts this turn. So if they have 6 mana and they play Summoner's Pact, now their Primeval Titan costs 7. They have to wait another turn. So they can't even do that yet. They have to wait 1 more turn to cast their Primeval Titan on curve as they want to. So Damping Sphere is the 3rd best option. So those are number 1, Blood Moon, number 2, Ashiok, number 3, Damping Sphere. Great question. Thanks for asking. Ray 727. I hope I can get far enough. We have a lot of discussion going on here, so I hope I can still find Ray 727. Let's go check your deck. Oh yeah, I can find it. Awesome. Hold on. Before I get to this deck list, there's a subscriber. I can't find it right now. Hold on. Where's the subscriber? I want to acknowledge the subscriber. Oh, Ray subscribed. Thank you very much, Ray. You're gonna get the what's it called? Where's my Thank you for subscribing. Oh, I have to be on this side. I gotta adjust this thing so it's not in my way. So thank you very much, Ray's 727. Thank you for finding my morning show valuable to you. I appreciate it. Get back to this. Get back to the questions. So where is your deck list? Okay. How about you go improving this deck? I have a feeling there's not enough pressure. Then you don't. Then you just don't. That's if you have a feeling that's the case, then that's probably the case. Control. Okay, let's go check out your list. Oops. Let's go. So mana base, 22 lands, looks fine. One Seachrome Coast, that's a bit odd, but whatever. Seachrome Coast is fine. 2 Arkham's Astrolabe. Now that's weird, because this is at least a cantrip that will fix your mana. I mean, I probably would fill this up to 4. There's got to be some cut for like 2 more of these. So 4 Path Exile, 2 Spell Snare, 2 Teferi, 1 Hero of Dominaria. If you're gonna go so high, okay, well, I'm gonna look at the rest of the list, but this feels pretty chunky. Cunning Knight. Oh, I've got Flash. So can I make this larger? Oops. Oops, it's not working out very well. Okay, Cunning Nightmonder. So Flash creature that says spells you cast with Flash cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. No synergy with Ice Fang because cannot get cheaper, but will be uncounterable. Niambi, Esteemed Speaker. When enters the battlefield, you may return another target creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you gain life equal to that creature's converted mana cost. So you can like bounce around your Ice Fang. Now I'm just gonna say this right now. This is not a powerful synergy. This is like I know you can like, you know, recycle your Ice Fang Quaddle, and this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really cool. But fact of the matter is that this is a very dirtily synergy, and this is not a plan to win the game. 1 Snapcaster Mage looks really out of place, and I don't even know if you have enough cards to like. You don't have a payoff for Snapcaster Mage, so just scrap this card. You don't have enough instants and sorceries. I know you want to maybe you want to recycle it. Yeah, but you're a creature-based deck. You're not an instant or sorcery-based deck. This is like Merfolk playing Snapcaster Mage. We just can't do it because we don't have enough instants and sorceries to pull this off. So just scrap this from your deck. Spellstarter Sprite. Do you have enough fairies for this? You have this. Spell Queller's not a fairy. I would scrap Spellstarter Sprite. Like, there's just not enough synergy here. You need synergy for these cards. I see the synergy between Cunning Nightbonder, Ice Fang, Niambi. I don't see any synergy here. This is just going to be a 1/1 creature, like, very, very often. Brazen Borrower is fine. Spell Queller is fine. And it's sort of nice that it's uncounterable and will cost 1 less with the Cunning Nightbonder. Click is fine. It's fine. Probably too much Walking Blister right now, but you know the card is still good. Mystic Snake enters the battlefield, counter target spell, and it's going to be Cunning Nightbonder into Mystic Snake is pretty sick. I like that. Teferi, Mage of Zalfir. I think this card is too expensive. So yeah, you don't have any way of winning the game. You need now let's look at your green. So you have this is green, this is green, Veil of Summer. Okay, so you're justifying the green, I think, enough. Vivian, monsters. We may cast creature spells from the top of your library. This might be too expensive. What else? I'm trying to find a color to cut. You have Teferi. Spell Quell. Okay, so we need. Okay, this is fine. Okay, you have a banned deck. Whatever. That's okay. That's fine. Ice Fang Quaddle is okay. How do we win the game? So you could do it with this. That's not that bad. Do we want a second one then? Teferi into this, and you just play with creatures. Chat, help me out. What kind of win conditions can we use in this deck? Because we are definitely lacking. Too expensive. He's calling chat poor. We're definitely lacking some win condition. We have okay. I mean, like, listen. I'm not. Brazen Bar is a win condition. Spell Queller can be a win condition. Evasion in the air is a win condition. So I have nothing against this. So I would definitely say we should cut out some fat, though. I'm just wondering if we can justify this green. Like, I understand you want to make the synergy work, but like you're trying really hard to make this green work. And we only have one Mystic Snake here, and like it looks like just a maybe we don't have enough green to justify this. And you should scrap the green and either go okay, let's just flat out say I think you should go Esper if you want to go this route. What is that? What's this? What is the is it Dream Troll? No. What's this Dream Trawler? What's the oh, this is a win condition. Flying Lifelake. Whenever you draw a card, it gets +1. Whenever it attacks, draw a card, and you can discard. It's actually not too bad, but it's still pretty clunky. What is Slitherwisp? That's what it is. This card's really good. I know it's double black, but I think it's worth it. It's a flash card. And by the way, this basically is a win condition. You keep drawing cards, you keep playing flash creatures, and like it really impressed me in Pioneer. It took my opponent's life total to almost nothing really quickly. I don't know if these green cards justify this deck. Oh, you have Oath of Nisa. Enters the battlefield. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature, land, or planeswalker card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom. You can spend mana as though it were any mana of any color to cast planeswalker spells. But this is like really good for the what's it called? This is particularly good for like 4 to 5 color planeswalker decks, and we're not there. You know you can make a pretty good 3 mana deck, I think. Maybe you can go 4 colors and still play this Icefang Quaddle and the Slitherwisp. Okay, my main suggestion is trying to make this Esper. Now, let's say that we try to go Bant, because you know what? I have a feeling if you love Bant and you want to go Bant, then just do this. I would say scrap Oath of Nisa, play more Arkham's Astrolabes, and Shock Onion. Maybe we go with the Octopus in this, because that wouldn't be too bad. We have a lot of flying creatures we can attach it to. Maybe more Brazen Borrowers. It's not a bad plan to try to win in the air like this. It's not that bad of a plan. Maybe go up another Mystic Snake. This thing is a beating. Like, this is a very strong... It is a strong card. To justify... Like, I might want to play one more Mystic Snake over a Teferi. To lower the curve. And also, like, this is just high impact. Like, if you go turn 2 Cunning Nightbonder and your opponent goes, like, Urza and you just slam Mystic Snake on them, that's strong. So, okay, how about this? If we want to go Bant, scrap Teferi, scrap the Spellstor's Knight, scrap Snapcaster Mage. You want to play these cards? Fine. They're good. They're all around good cards. Get rid of Oath of Nisa. Go up on the Arkham's Astrolabe. And fill in the cracks with more Mystic Snake. And what else? There's got to be another, maybe the Octopus. There's got to be some really good flash creatures that you could use, especially at instant speed, that you can utilize. I mean, there's like things like this, which I love. What's it called? Nimble Obstructionist. So for any asshole deck that's going to try to blow up everything with engineered explosives or blast zone on 1 or 2, you can play Nimble Obstructionist. I think this is a really good card. Hello, Reformed One Trick. So that could be, and you can attack in the air. That could be your win condition. And 3-power creatures deal significant damage really quickly. To be able to play this, I think at 2 mana is like pretty damn strong too. If you want to take that option. So okay, I personally, if I were to try to build a flash deck, I would definitely make it blue-black something. I don't know what it is. If you want to go Bant, you want Icefang Quaddle and Mystic Snake are really good payoff cards. Play at least 1 or 2 more Mystic Snake, because this, I mean, that's a beating. That's a 2-for-1. That's a 2-for-1. And maybe play more Veil of Summer, because this is a really good card. Well, let's look at the sideboard. I don't know what this is just 2 win more to me. Get rid of this garbage. Aven Mind Sensor, that's fine. Ashok is fine. Rest in Peace. Maybe we gotta have more Rest in Peace, because this is a really good card. Gaddock Teat is fine. Damping Sphere is good. Maybe you don't need Celestial Purge. Ether Gust, maybe, yeah. So I would say a second Rest in Peace would be good. Anyway, that's those are my recommendations. Great list. Great, interesting deck. Very creative. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing, Ray's 727. Fantastic discussion as usual today. on the Morning Magic Show, Coffee and MTG, every single weekday. Oh, it is so hot today. I'm sweating. In fact, I've hired an employee. Oh, this employee is doing very well, but unfortunately, employee's on a break because it makes a lot of noise. Try to keep the noise quiet for these coffee and MTGs. All right, so let's move on. Remember, question, if you have any questions, 3 question marks before, 3 question marks after the question, or deck list review, and or you can add Nikachu MTG. It's all good. Helps me find your questions in the sea of all the comments, because there's tons of comments here. Mr. Goo, Tezzeret Control. I have not seen a Tezzeret Control deck in a while. Let's go check out a Tezzeret Control. So there's a lot of deck list submissions. Sorry if I can't get to everybody today. I'll try to do my best. Who loves the deck list submissions? If you don't get it today, you just try another day. It's okay. I keep forgetting to press enter. Come on, let's go. We don't have all day. Tezzeret Control. 3 Spellskite. I hate it. I hate Spellskite. I think this is a trash card. Maybe it's better. Well, maybe it's better with Emery. Who knows? You know what? I've never seen Spellskite with Emery, so I'm not going to judge. But Spellskite in general, not the greatest card. But you know what? If this is a repeatable lightning rod with Emery, I think that's great. But why 1 Emery? Okay, let's look at the whole list. 1 Murderous Rider, a Tezzeret the Schemer. Oh, this is like Tezzeret Tribal. Tezzeret Schemer. Create a colorless artifact token named Ethereum. Tap, sacrifice this artifact, add mana. -2, target creature gets +X plus O plus minus X. Sorry, +X minus X until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control, and it's got an emblem that doesn't really matter. At the beginning of your combat step, target artifact you control becomes an artifact creature. This is a crappy planeswalker. Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas. I know this is a good one. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Awesome card. Really awesome card. This is a really strong card. Replaces itself no matter what. And also, you can just turn any random piece of shit on the battlefield. With the -1 is target artifact becomes a 5/5 artifact creature. Really powerful planeswalker. This is a good one. I would play more. I would play definitely. I don't know what the point of this one is. If there is a reason, like if there is a really good hardcore synergistic reason for this, Mr. Goo, let me know. But aside from that, aside from that, like Agent of Bolas is way above better than Schemer. So Tezzeret the Seeker, untap 2 artifacts, another really powerful artifact synergy, also a tutor, so it can replace itself. Tezzeret the Seeker is also a huge plus in my book, and also has this ultimate that's not hard to pull off. Like you go +1 one turn, next turn all your artifacts are 5/5 creatures. This is a really good planeswalker. Tezzeret Master of the Bridge, 6 mana. It's really pretty bad, honestly. Tezzeret Master deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Doesn't replace itself. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Only as good if there's an artifact in your graveyard to get, but I would rather just have Emery. It does the same thing. And Ugin the Ineffable, it's fine. This card's fine. If you have enough colorless stuff to make use of the colorless spell thing, it's good. 2 Fatal Push, 3 Inquisition, 3 Thought Scour, 1 Bile Blight, Drown in the Lock, 2 Whir of Invention. So what is the question? I tried to make a Tezzeret control deck on a semi-budget. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Is this control Tezzerator combination any good? So first off, some of these Tezzerets are really good. I think if you went higher on Tezzeret Agent of Bolas, Tezzeret the Seeker, that would be better. I don't know how many of each planeswalker you can play before it gets too clunky. I mean, at the very least, you can play like 1 more Tezzeret the Seeker so you get a little bit more consistently. Because the other ones are like straight garb. And okay, so you're on a budget, so these might be expensive. Tezzeret the Seeker is $15, and each Tezzeret Agent of Bolas. So I get it. So you're playing the other ones because they're more affordable, but they're a lot worse. Play more Emerys. Just max out 4 Emerys. $2, all right? Sell your Tezzeret Master of the Bridge and get an Emery. That's my recommendation. Bile Blight, it's okay, but probably you can do better than this. Let's see, Drown in the Loch is perfect. Drown in the Loch is very good. And 2 Whir of Invention. Get the last Astrolabe. This card's very good. Pithing Needle. So now you got your like toolbox thing going on here. You got Sun Droplet here. 2 Ensnaring Bridge. You blew your budget on this Ensnaring Bridge, I see. Maybe you can live with 1. And you have 1 extra Whir of Invention to find any other... how common is... How about we look... what's it called? Whir of Invention. Modern. Oops. Need Whir deck. Whir Modern. Whir Prison. Not Whir Prison, but what's called Thopter Foundry. What was it? Sword of the Meek combo. I want to know what the shell looks like. Thopter Foundry. Oh, where's MTG Goldfish when I need it? Okay, they do play 2 Ensnaring Bridge. I'm sold. I just wanted to compare it to another Whir of Invention Ensnaring Bridge deck. So so we do have a way of winning, but I mean the better way of winning is something like Tezzeret the Seeker. This is a stronger way of winning, and this is a strong... And Tezzeret Agent of Bolus is like a way better way of winning. This is not a way of winning. At the beginning of your combat step, target artifact you control becomes... this is like so poopy. I don't like it. But on a budget, how do we win with this deck? I want like the 6-drop Tezzeret wins late games every time. Yeah, but are we going to have a late game in Modern is the question. The +2 is good. Like, it's going to protect itself. Make no mistake. Creature and Planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so like if you get this thing out, you can play everything else. So I would play more Emery. I would play maybe more Murderous Rider over, say, this Bile Blight. I know it's cheaper, but like this is like infinitely better. Spellskite, I'm like, I don't know about. Like Spellskite, I think is better if you have more Emerys. Spellskite otherwise is not that great. And do we have enough artifacts? Somehow I want to feel like there should be more artifacts. Like have the extra Astrolabe that you can eventually turn into a 5/5 creature. And it helps you. And it's a cantrip. It digs for your planeswalkers. You want more cantrips like this. You might want more Mind Stones so that you go turn 2 Mind Stone into turn 3 Tezzeret Agent of Bolus or Tezzeret the Schemer, or at least get a turn closer to the other Tezzeret. So you might actually also want more Mind Stones, I think, in this deck. I think you want Mind Stone more than you want Pentad Prism. It's only a 2-color deck, so I think you can live quite reliably without this. This is not a ramp spell. I mean, it's a ramp spell, but like, okay, and you can utilize the artifact. I get it. You can like turn it into, or is it a better ramp spell for this deck? Maybe it's better because you can get 2 mana out of it, right? Remove a charge counter, so you can remove 2, immediately put down like one of these things by turn, but you can get this thing out on turn 3 anyway with a Mind Stone. You can get this out on turn 3 with the Pentad Prism, and then you can turn, but you can't untap it. I think this would have a little bit better. Sorry, I think Mind Stone would have a little bit better synergy, and you can turn it into a card if you ever want to in the late game. So Mind Stone is just infinitely better than Pentad Prism. So you might need to get rid of some of these other cards. What do we need? I'm not in love with Spellskite, to be honest. It's weak, dies to everything. Like, it has no interaction. This is like more of a sideboard card, and we need to go up on Emery, in my opinion. I think we need to go back. We need to go up on Emery. Anyway, I wish I could tell you what to take out. I don't have strong thoughts on that. Maybe the Thought Scour. This doesn't feel like it has great synergy. I mean, the Thought Scours at the very least should be Emery's. Emery is your Thought Scour, right? Stickball Russ. Is that a live, Nikachu? I'm live. Yes, you see me live. This is not a pre-recorded show. It's very hard to do these pre-recorded. So anyway, thanks for the list. I hope you make the necessary adjustments because it's possible. It's possible. You know, I think because the thing is, like the Tezzerets, especially like when we talk about this, can be a prison deck where you play Engineered Ensnaring Bridge, But the thing about the Tezzeret deck is that it can kill you pretty quickly. Like, I always talk about these prison decks, like, you need a way of winning the game. Tezzeret the Seeker is a pretty damn good way of winning the game. Artifacts you control become 5/5 creatures until end of turn. That will wipe someone out, for sure. And then, like, Tezzeret Agent of Bolas incrementally can turn like a lot of this other crap into like really strong creatures. So anyway, thanks very much for the submitting the deck list. I think Tezzeret, there is definitely room for like a Tezzeret deck. And maybe like competitively, there is a Tezzeret deck out there that hasn't been found that could include both Emery and Urza. Maybe there's just something. So there's something out there. It's possible. The truth is out there. Who can find it? Great. So great deck list submissions, great questions. The Pessimist Scientist, hey Nikachu, besides play Historic Merfolk, I've been dabbling with Historic Arc-Light Phoenix as well. Curious what your thoughts about this list are. So I'm assuming this is going to be playing with the new cards. We don't have a gameplay stream today, so I can go a little bit over time today. I don't mind to get through a few more deck lists, if that is going to be valuable to all of you. All right, so here's the list. 3 Goblin Electromancer. I always find that's weird. I think Goblin... Well, I think you want the 4th one. I'm not entirely sure. It's... Okay, I'll give you this about 3. You won't see a second one, and maybe you don't want to see a second one. So, okay, 3 Goblin Electromancer, Sprite Dragon. Love this card. Underrated card. And especially in a deck like this, where you're going to be playing a lot of like cantrips and stuff like that anyway to activate Arc-Light Phoenix, Sprite Dragon, perfect card in this sort of archetype. And also, there's not, in Historic, there aren't really a lot of ways of punishing this card. Like, there just isn't... Like, there's no Lava Dart. There's no Walking Ballista. So the turn that it comes out, I mean, you either have a removal spell or you don't. And it just gets bigger from there. Brazen Borrower is a fine tempo card. Arc-Light Phoenix, of course. And Stormwing Entity. I don't know what this card is. So 5 mana. Oh, it's a new one. 5 mana, 3/3 creature with flying. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. Great synergy. Whenever it enters the battlefield, scry 2. I love it. I like this card. I like this card a lot. It's not that hard to get in play, especially in the late game. Like, you're going to have the mana to get this thing in play for sure. Like the card. 4 Opt, 4 Shock, 4 Chart a Course, 2 Finale of Promise, 2 Lightning Strike, Radical Idea, See the Truth. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Sorry, put one of them into your hand. If the spell was cast from anywhere other than your hand, put each of those cards into your hand. So you can Finale of Promise like 3 cards into your hand with See the Truth. Great synergy. Thrill of Possibility. As an additional cost, yes, you discard cards, draw 2 cards. Okay, so there's maybe only one. This is maybe not a huge... There might be only one problem. I don't know if this is a big problem. And the question is, how do we get Arc-Light Phoenix in the graveyard? Now, this may not be a big deal. It may be these 8 cards are enough, because you can still sift through your library with like Opt and stuff like that. I just don't know if it isn't enough. We still need like one more card to help get our Arc-Light Phoenix in the graveyard. That being said, even if you don't discard the card into the graveyard, Arc-Light Phoenix is fine. 4 mana, 3/2 flyer is great. So the only thing in your sideboard, I think the mana base is good. 4 Sulfur Falls. This looks fine to me. Usually these sort of decks that play like 1 blue, 1 red, they don't have not too many double requirements. I know we have a double requirement here, but I think your mana base supports it. 13. Actually, you don't. This is 4, 8, 13, 14, 15. Maybe you do, because you do have the Opt and the Chart, of course. So you're digging through your deck. I don't want to underestimate that. Beautiful list. So the only question, I just don't know how it would play. I think it's been very well built. And I cannot judge the sideboard because, like, pending how well it does in other matchups. I mean, you're using great cards. Mystical Dispute, Flame Sweep, deals 2 damage to each creature except for creatures you control with flying. You, of course, have a lot of flyers in your deck. Ashiok, Dream Render, 3 Negate, 2 Fry, 3 Ether Gust. Maybe one consideration might be Narset, in the sideboard, because when you reach, there are some control decks that are depending on drawing. Maybe not. Maybe the much better one is Ashiok. I would have it in mind, but it's not necessary because you have a pretty good deck for Narset. But if the time comes that you need Narset, you play Narset. If not, Ashiok is probably just a better card right now to beat the stupid Field of the Dead decks. The stupid. They search their library. You don't let them search their library. Anyway, love the deck list. Actually, I think this is really cool. I think it's really cool. It's really strong. Too bad it doesn't have a good one drop, but you have enough things to do on turn one anyway. So great list. Thanks for sharing. Nice list. Odd Parsley. What do you think of this? I will see. I will see. You didn't link me to anything. The deck you were trying to view has been marked as private. Sorry about that, Odd Parsley, but your deck list is private. Oops, this is not. Anyway, I can't see your list. It's been marked as private. You gotta make sure it's public. Gotta make sure it's public. So we had some great discussions today. This is great. We're gonna keep going for a little bit longer. I don't have a stream today, so we can have a coffee and MTG that drags on a little bit past everyone's lunch break. For those of you not at work or anything like that, we have the possibility. So let me see if there are any other. Rum Jagger. This is my historic Blade Wing the Risen combo deck. I'm hitting a brick wall at Diamond and wondered if you had any idea how to improve it. Let me close some tabs here. We did a lot of deck review today. This is sweet. Okay, let's get your deck on the big screen. The big screen. All right. All right, Rum Jagger. So this is historic, you said? Yes, your historic Blade Wing deck. Stitch. Okay, so Stitcher Supplier. We've got Croxa, Ox of Agonas, Blade Wing the Risen. Holy crap, this is very expensive. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target dragon permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And I'm assuming this is the dragon you want to bring back. Whenever Drakuseth, Maw of Flames attacks, deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. So I think you have some sort of... Oh, you got Unburial Rites. All right, so that's the idea. 3 Kaya's Wrath, 3 Deafening Clarion. It's basically a control deck with a combo finish, right? Cathartic Reunion. I think the first question, Mike, I would have is, what do you lose to? Like, are you losing to everything? Are you losing to aggro? Talk to me, Room Jagger. What is up? Are you still here in the chat? I mean, you could. Well, I mean, I don't know if you can go all in on the combo. The combo is a loop between the 2 Blade Wing. Yeah, I get it. I get it. So, but what do you lose to? I usually lose to control. Well, there's a good reason for that. Because you don't have any way to interact with their hand. And like all these cards just blank on them, you know? Sorry, the Deafening Clarion, the Kaya's Wrath, they don't care about this stuff, right? They just don't care. And they might even have some ways of interacting with this once it enters the battlefield. So, okay, there's a few ways to beat control. You could play more Croxa. This is a pretty interesting card in this deck because you are filling your graveyard anyway, and I think this is a strong card. So it will do 2 things. It'll limit the control players' like just card advantage, period. And it will be a pretty legitimate threat by itself that I don't think gets wiped away by, things like Deafening Clarion. I think this is a pretty, I think that's good synergy that you're able to wipe your opponent's board while still playing Croxa. So so Bastion of Remembrance. When Bastion of Remembrance enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. But you don't have that many creatures, right? Or hold on, how's the combo work here? Enters the battlefield, you can return a target dragon permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you get this. It deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage up to 2 other targets. So you want to kill this thing? You may return target dragon permanent card from the graveyard to the battlefield. How does this combo? I have a feeling you have some sort of combo here, but I don't get it. Enters the battlefield, you can turn a dragon permanent from the graveyard to the battlefield. So you get this one. You get 2 Blade Wings. Oh, okay. So you get two Blade Wings, then sack for the legendary rule. The legend rule kills one, and then you bring back the dead Blade Wing. Aha! So you just regurgitate these over and over again with Bastion of Remembrance, and you gain a bunch of life. And I like you get like a 1/1 token. That's pretty useful against what's it called? Like the that's pretty useful against what's it called? Like burn, for example, or any red decks. You get like a bit of a chump blocker. You gain a little bit of life in between. On Burial Rites, like, do you need to do something that fancy? Like, why not just on Burial Rites a really big creature into play and win? Like, I feel like the win condition is a bit fancy. Or, okay, how about this? Okay, game 1, you do whatever. I probably play a few more Croxa. Maybe it's more important than another Ox of Igonus. Now, what we're going to do, so you're going to lose game 1 against Control. I don't think there's a real... You could play more Croxa. I don't know how many... You would know better than me what you can cut from this deck in order to add more Croxas, but Croxa is going to be your best game 1 card against Control. And you know what? It's a pretty damn decent game 1 card against anything, because you're going to cut people off resources. Like, even against a red deck, you're going to get them to discard a Lightning Strike or something like that. So play like up to maybe 3 Croxas in the main deck, game 1. Now, sideboard, we gotta go full discard on your opponent. Target opponent, that's fine. Target opponent reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it, exile that card, you lose 1 life. I don't know if Disenchant is where you want to be. Maybe it is, because you have to beat things like, I don't know, the Graveyard Hate, because otherwise you can't do anything. You have another Croxa, gotta get that in the main deck. The Elder Spell, destroy any number of target Planeswalkers. Choose a Planeswalker you control, put 2 loyalty counters on it. Don't we have Duress in Historic? Do we have Duress available? Like, is that a card? I think we got, like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think against the Control decks, you might want more Duress so that you can clear the way for your combo when you combo off, or at least clear the way for your threats. So you see that they've got, like, I don't know, Teferi Time Reveler, and then you get rid of it. So I think the best way of defeating them is just going, like, it's classic Jund versus Control strategy. You got to deplete the resources in their hand, and you can do that with things like Croxa. Croxa will help. And do you have like Planeswalker Destruction, the Elder Spell? Destroy any number of target Planeswalkers. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind the Elder Spell because they're always going to bring in Planeswalkers and they're going to get you. So maybe a few more hand destruction spells might be what you're looking for. This is expensive. You choose a non-land card from it. Like Duress does the same. No, Duress is non-creature, non-land. So I might play a few more discard spells. I might play a few more discard spells and lean harder on Croxa, especially in the main deck. But and then if Control is like a very high percentage of the metagame, then you need to fit in like more of these sort of maybe discard spells in the main deck. That's the best I can do for you. Great, nice deck, very creative, and congrats for making it to Diamond 1. To the Diamond tier with your brew. I think that's very, very impressive. It's very hard for people to move up so high up the ladders with their own invention of a deck. So it's really cool. It's really creative, and I'm glad you shared it with us. And maybe someone else can take the idea and take it to another degree. It's hard for me to tell that you like combo off with the legend rule. Because like I also would be concerned. I hope this is not a win more combo. Like Unburial Rightsing like a big threat into play sometimes can just win the game by itself. Like always keep that in mind, that if you go up to a high enough limit, that this is not win more. I do like the Bastion of Remembrance in a way, because it does interact with like the aggro. Like you put a body on the board to block aggro decks, and also you gain some life. So I have no idea. Sorry, I have no idea at the highest level if this is useless, because I do see utility in that, even though it looks clunky. So very useful. So thanks for sharing it with us. Cool deck. Mr. Blue asks, is there a defined ratio of power to risk for Simic Merfolk? Well, the problem is we're not very powerful, period. So, I mean, there always is this sort of ratio of power to risk. Like, the more powerful you try to make a deck, you might be more vulnerable to certain hate cards. For example, like, I'm always... like, right now, I'm not playing Brazen Borrower. I'm just trying not to. That's risky. And I'm replacing Brazen Borrower with more Lords. Brazen Borrower is clunky. It's hard to use. And also, the one toughness is really vulnerable to Walking Ballista in today's modern metagame. What else do I want to say about this? But I need to play Brazen Borrower to answer Ensnaring Bridge. It's my only answer to Ensnaring Bridge, if it resolves. So there always is. So I've decided to... I'm playing a more risky deck, so I can close out games faster against all the other archetypes. But there's always... I don't know if there is a defined risk to ratio, like power to ratio for Simic Merfolk, but there definitely is something. Well, we have a very cool... We have a very nice discussion today. I'm looking for more questions. Where's the questions? Where's the questions? A lot of discussion, which is great, but it makes it harder for me to find the questions. Ray727, just want to jump on the legacy card discussion from yesterday. How do you feel about Gerard's Verdict, Vindicate, Shardless Agent, and Dak Faden coming into modern? I don't know what Gerard's Verdict is. Vindicate for sure can come in. Oh, this is old. This is super old. This is super old school. Black and white sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards from his or her hand. You gain 3 life for each land card discarded this way. I think it would be fine. I think this card would be totally fine. It might help Esper, actually. It would give like a bit of a push to Esper, because they already have they have Esper Charm. I don't know, maybe they won't play this. Maybe Esper Charm is better, but this card's good. This card is very good. I think it's fine. Vindicate, 100% fine. It's just a 3-mana destroy target permanent, I guess. I mean, yeah, I can blow up lands, but it's probably good for modern. Help fight against... It would give a little bit more to the black-green X decks that want to fight like Tron and Amulet Titan. Definitely would be good. I think that's totally fine. Shardless Agent probably is fine. Like Bloodbraid Elf. Bloodbraid Elf sees play, but is not busted or anything like that. This is totally fine. And Dak Faden? Dak Faden, I can't tell. That's hard to tell. This is hard to analyze. I don't know if... it's easier to kill than, say, the Royal Scions, but you can gain control of your opponent's artifacts. I don't know if that is a good or bad thing. This one's a wild card. I have no idea. It sees a lot of play in a lot of other archetypes, like in Vintage and stuff like that. Vintage powerhouse, but because they have a lot of artifacts. We don't have as many artifacts in Modern. We do have artifacts. I don't know if it's anything worth stealing, but... Well, maybe, like, steal your Ballista? Maybe it's not bad. I mean, they have to empty the Ballista, but basically it's a removal spell. 3 mana for that. Maybe that's not that great. But can't say. But thanks for asking. Niels Nielsen asks, I really want to play Control, but I'm afraid of bannings in the Bant Snow deck. What other Control decks do you think is playable in Modern right now? I think if you buy into Bant Snow, the deck is still going to be good. I think... Like, here, how about this? The blue-white shell was already incredibly good, one of the best decks in Modern, before the snow decks really took over. So like even if they banned, I don't know, Veil of Summer and Arkham's Astrolabe, there probably will still be a banned snow deck that will still be good. Or if not, like the worst case scenario is that your Uros and your Icefang Quaddles will be effectively banned. But like the rest of your deck is still going to be good. Your Teferis are going to still be good. Your Snapcaster Mages, Teferi Hero of Dominaria, this the Snapcaster Mages, Snapcaster Mages and Jaces. I think it's a really safe thing to buy into like Snow Control, because even if they banned all the green cards, you'd still have a really powerful tier 1 deck. Like there were already multiple variations of strong blue-white control decks in Modern before this happened. So before the Snow Control decks proved that they were better. So I think it's very reasonable to buy into Snow Control, because it can take a few bannings and still be on top, in my opinion. In my opinion. And this is all my opinion here, people. It's not other people's opinions. You know me, I got the hot takes. I'm not afraid to giving the hot takes. If I think Mox Opal should be banned, I'm right. And I was right. If I said that Modern is not a rotating format, like, did it rotate? All right, they corrected the companions. Is Modern a rotating format? We got the same fucking deck lists as we did like 4 months ago. Nothing changed. I know it's not a rotating format. I know. Oh, Ard Parsley, again, coming back. So I don't... But what is the... Do you have a question attached to this? Is there a question included in this, or is this your deck list? Ooh, yeah, we might see a neat Boros Knights deck. Okay. Champion of Parish, the bane of my existence. I'm so jealous of this card. Fervent Champion. Also a pretty good card early, but only has synergy with the Knights, other Knights. But you have I guess this is like this is a Knight deck? Boros Knights. Sweet. All right. Inspiring Veteran. This is basically like the Merfolk Mistbinder of like Knights, I guess. Gives +1/+1 to all the other Knights. No synergy with Champion of the Parish. But it's a human. Okay, so it's not bad. It's effectively a better Lord in that way. Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Flanking. If Knight of the Holy Nimbus would be destroyed, regenerate it? So what, it's like invincible or something? Pay 2 mana. None of the Holy Nimbus can't be regenerated this turn. Only an opponent can... Oh, I get it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This is effectively indestructible. Or it really taxes the opponent. And it's a human. Stoneforge Mystic, strong. But if you play 3, I would play the 4th one. Or maybe not. I don't know. I have different opinions about this now. I'm playing with 3 Aether Vial. So who am I to judge your 3 Stoneforge Mystic? Thales Lieutenant, strong, acclaimed contender. Enters the battlefield. If you control another knight, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a knight or equipment or legendary card among them, put into your hand. Put the rest on your bottom of your library in any order. This is fine. I get it. Knight Exemplar. First strike. Another... Oh, and are indestructible. That's pretty sick. Okay, so first strike, other knights, creatures you control get +1/+1 and are indestructible. Just go attack. Freely attack. You have nothing to lose. Basri's Lieutenant. Vigilance, protection from multicolor. Enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Whenever Basri Lieutenant or another creature you control dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, create a 1/1 white token. I think this card sucks. I don't like this card. This is very clunky. It has protection from, like, you know, the Teferis. I'm not in love with this card, though. 4 mana is really clunky. 3 Path to Exile. 4 Aether Vial, great. Like, I think a better card than this might be just Thalia. Thalia, Thraben, not Thraben Inspector. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Like, it's just an all-around good human card, for example. Anyway, I think that card is just expensive for Modern period, and this is just really good interaction against a lot of decks. I mean, this is why this is being played in humans. Actually, is it still being played in humans? I think it's still being played in human. I think it's still in there. But I think if just off the top of my head, if there was a human, but is it a knight? Just a human soldier? So what, that doesn't have synergy with this deck? And this is a knight? Okay, I see the problem. We need to have another knight in here. We need another knight to get the synergy. But maybe there's enough synergy as a human to put it in here. Anyway, I want to replace this thing, that's all. 4 mana for this effect, I'm like, who cares? basically how it is. 3 Path to Exile, that's fine. Sort of Feast and Famine and Sort of Justice. Interesting that you're not including Batterskull, but I'm not going to hate on it or anything, because maybe Batterskull is not what this deck needs. And, maybe Batterskull is just overrated. I don't know what the difference. I don't know why you want these cards. So I'm just going to assume that this is what you want. I can't tell yet if Batterskull is really, really like the best thing in the world. There's like a lot of removal for Batterskull. Lands. Come on, you got to have 4. I'm assuming this is a budget thing. I think you should have 4. Oh, no, I see. You have 3 Mutavaults, 3 Cavern of Souls. I forgot. This is a 2-color deck, effectively. But then maybe you want the 4 Cavern of Souls. I think Cavern of Souls is well positioned right now. But maybe you need it for Path to Exile. How many white sources do you have? 8, 9, 10. We don't have that many white sources for Path to Exile. We actually have very few. Oh, no, sorry. Inspiring Vantage. No, we have a lot. Sorry. 5, 8, 10, 14. What am I? I'm panicking for no reason. Okay. 3 Cavern of Souls. Nice. It's nice. It's a good number. Grafdigger's Cage. Containment Priest. Probably could use 1 more of these. Damping Sphere. That's good. Core Firewalker. Awesome. Basically hoses burn decks and the other decks. Suppression Field. Awesome. Where's your Rest in Peace? There's no Rest in Peace. How do you play this deck with no Rest in Peace? Where's Rest in Peace? Odd Parsley. There's no way this is better than Rest in Peace. This is easier for like dredge decks to destroy. You don't use the graveyard. You don't use the graveyard at all. So I would definitely add some more Rest in Pieces. I would dig through Gatherer to find a better night than this. There's got to be a better night than this. I think this is a crappy night. And I would get rid of... Don't know where you want this card, but I'm just assuming this is a good card. Do you want another card you could play with in here? Or maybe you don't want to. How many Enter the Battlefield effects do you have? Maybe you have too many ETB effects to use something like Hushbringer. Yeah. Yeah, Rest in Peace is the best white spell in Modern. So I would say we need Rest in Peace in here. Get rid of this crap. And have... Or you got to get rid of 2 of other things. So 3 Firewalker I think is good. Wheel of the Sun and Moon. Enchant player. If a card would be put into enchanted player's graveyard from anywhere, instead that card is revealed and put onto the bottom of that player's library. Is that better? I've never seen anyone use this card. Enchant player. Oh, you can tutor for it with Acclaimed Contender. But you only have 1. This is not a lot of Acclaimed Contenders in your deck. Unless you want to replace the Basri's Lieutenant with it. That is not really that bad of a plan. Why don't you just go all in on this card? Like, this is a good grinding card, right? You look at the top 5 cards of your library, and this is a pretty big creature. 3/3 is nice. It's not bad. You look for a knight, so you just replace this with another knight. Fuck this card. I don't like this card. Play the Acclaimed Contender. Okay, I see your synergy. You can get an Aura card. If you have a Knight, Aura, Equipment, or Legendary. Okay, I get it. That's nice synergy. Odd Parsley. That is nice. There's a requirement? What's the requirement? So I might want to have a mix of... I would definitely get rid of Grafdigger's Cage and something else for Rest in Peace, but I like the Wheel of Sun and Moon, and I actually think we might have fixed this. Get rid of this Basri's Lieutenant. Think this is pointless, and get Acclaimed Contender, because you can dig for these cards. Okay, I also want to just throw out one other thing. This is a bit slow to get this Wheel of Sun and Moon, because you're going to play this. This is turn 3. And you might be dead by then, by the time you... So I'm now rethinking this. First, I still like Acclaimed Contender more than Basri's Lieutenant, because this is effectively... There's like a human that replaced itself, and I think this is in the same boat. 3 mana for a 3/3 creature that replaces itself, I think is beautiful. I love it. But like there is... Like, technically the synergy is not that great, because at turn 3 you play this. Then on turn 4 you play this. Dredge Graveyard is already full by then. You're way too late. So I actually would still replace this with Rest in Peace. I would replace this with Rest in Peace, and I might get rid of the Grafdigger's Cage and replace it with another, maybe with another Containment. Maybe. There is something to say. The Containment Priest does get destroyed by a lot of removal spells. So yeah, Militia Burglar this is like the Militia Burglar of this deck, and I like it. I like it. Top 5 cards of your library. Look for equipment or a legendary artifact card. Cool, love it. So anyway, nice list, cool, and you have a lot of 1-drops, which I like. The Fervent Champion, the Champion of the Parish, and you have Ether Vial, so it's a nice, smooth-looking deck. Good luck with it. I think that's a cool deck. Decks like that are hidden in Modern. They're like super hidden. Like that totally could be a tier 1 deck. And I'll just throw out one more thing. Just keep an eye on the Stoneforge Mystic if it works or not, because this deck might be better as it's just an all-in aggro deck, and Stoneforge Mystic is a very slow mid-rangey card. Actually, I really want to push that out there. Like, I put Stoneforge Mystic in Merfolk, and it did not work at all. Why? Because I don't have the removal available to make use of Stoneforge Mystic, especially Batterskull, and maybe that's a reason you don't have Batterskull in this deck. But I would keep an eye on Stoneforge Mystic, because maybe there's a better Knight card. Maybe there's a way better Knight card than this. But anyway, I hope that was some valuable deck tech information. Thanks for sharing. I like the look of the list, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Logic's hot GM. Logic is hot. All right, this I think will be the last list we look at today. Hope you're still around, Logic's hot. Deck reviews are very popular here on this channel. I'm really curious to know how that Knight deck is gonna work out. That was a cool deck. Budget Boggles. Will you be kind enough to see my budget boggles, and what kind of improvements should I do on a budget? Curious to know what your budget is. So Glade Cover Scout, nice and cheap. Slippery Bogle, nice and cheap. Honestly, I don't believe in Core Spirit Dancer. I actually think this is a pile of trash. I really honestly don't like Core Spirit Dancer. I know it's okay. You can play whatever because it's standard in these decks, but yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's move on. Unfortunately, Boggles has gotten cheaper. Path to Exile is fine. 4 Ethereal Armor, 2 Griffspoon, 3 Hyena Umbra, 4 Rancor, Spider Umbra, Spirit Link, Daybreak Coronet, Spirit Mantle. Probably the greatest upgrade is just playing more Leyline of Sanctities. Look at your budget. It's like all in Temple Gardens. I know the pain. The pain of the mana base. Like, that's the only problem with Bogles is like the mana base. It sucks. Tormod's Crypt, Mana Tithe. I'm assuming Rest in Peace is too expensive. What might be better than Tormod's Crypt might be Soul Guide Lantern. Oh, you got him. Okay, forget it. You got a little bit of both. Mana Tithe. This card's... I don't know what you want this card against. I don't like it. Spirit Link, Damping Sphere, Suppression Field. I like that. Leyline of Sanctity. I would play more of these in the main. Prevent, like, at least one more. I think by itself is like not too bad of a card. Still synergizes with Core Spirit Dancer, right? Oh no, hold on. No, sorry. It synergizes with Ethereal Armor because you get +1/+1 for each enchantment you control, and it has first strike. The bane of your existence is going to be Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek. But if you get this thing out like early, like on turn 1, you give yourself a way better chance of winning the game. I think that was the best innovation of the Boggles deck, is that they main decked more of these things. Maybe I should play Boggles because I just don't believe in Core Spirit Dancer. I think it's like a win more card. I think like you just want literally cards that cannot be touched, that have hex proof. Like, is if you play like this, that's fine. I actually think your budget deck is great as it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The problem is like the problem is Boggles is a lot of people have game against Boggles. It's just that's the reality of it all. There's so many people have good game against Boggles. You need... Okay, there's one card that you could play. What is the Twitch? What's the chat? What's the enchantment? The seal enchantment? Seal of Cleansing or something? No, seal of... Is it Seal of Cleansing? I'm thinking of the green. No, this is not. What's the green seal that we can help our friend with here? Yeah, in terms of a creature, no, I'm not like a Bogle's master or anything like that, and I'm sure people have like experimented with this, but I just don't believe in Silhana. I believe more in Silhana Ledgewalker than I do with Core Spirit Dancer, because you can kill the Core Spirit Dancer. And so what if you draw a card? It doesn't matter. It's a huge tempo loss. Like whatever creature you put on the battlefield, it needs to stay there for forever. And Silhana Ledgewalker, for the most part, will be that creature. There's a green seal, because seal of Primordial. Okay, thank you very much. Primordial. See, this card, localized image. What is it? Seal of Pry. How about Seal of Pry? Primordium. Great. Why do you want this? Your deck gets hosed by Chalice of the Void on 1. Hosed really badly. Everything, and make no mistake, there are Chalice of the Voids in that Eldrazi deck, so you need to be able to beat like Chalice of the Void on 1, because everything's a 1-drop. See, I mean, you're just totally dead if they play Chalice of the Void on 1. 2 Spirit Mantle is good. So how do you beat Chalice of the Void on 1? I think this is your best answer. Seal of Primordium. Seal of Primordium is hands down like your best answer to any of this crap, because maybe even better would be like, and also like you can play it early and then just let it sit on the battlefield and help fuel your ethereal armor, which has good synergy. All that glitters. What's all that glitters? Because you need to have a good plan against Thoughtseize, and you need a good plan against Chalice of the Void, because both those cards just wreck the hell out of you. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So that's neat. This is sort of like a nice hedge also against Chalice of the Void. I think for the most part you want to be all in, just like a prowess deck is. But maybe there is room to play something like this. I've never looked at all the aura cards. I mean, I think a decent card actually is what, Armadillo Cloak? Or there is not an Armadillo Cloak. I don't know if there's Armadillo Cloak in Modern, but there is an aura at 3 mana that gains lifelink and trample that might be worthwhile. Yeah, Silhana Ledgewalker is nice. Oh, that is a good card. I really like this card. It basically has some sort of evasion, and it has hexproof, and it's 2 mana. Unflinching Courage, yeah. Oh, that's a really good point. Odd Parsley. Let's play with Lurrus. Why not? Lurrus costs nothing. And your deck... Oh no, each permanent card in your starting deck has to have converted mana cost 2 or less. We can't play the Leyline of Sanctity if we play with Lurrus. That's very important. We need the Leyline of Sanctity. There's no other way. You need to have Leyline of Sanctity, or you're going to get crushed. You're just going to get crushed. I think Lurrus is going to be too slow. At first, I got excited. So Unflinching Courage is another card that can get around Chalice of the Void. So the 2 biggest problems for you is you need to dodge Chalice of the Void. You need to dodge Thoughtseize and Inquisition of Kozilek, because those are the backbreaking cards that are gonna beat you. And you have you're playing green-white. You have answers to everything else. You have Damping Sphere is good. Suppression Field is good. Leyline of Sanctity is good. I'm sure there's something else we're missing here. You don't... Okay, I understand this is a bit budget, so you don't want Rest in Peace. So that would be I would recommend trying to go maybe a little bit higher on the curve. Just a little bit. Maybe just throw 2 of those Unflinching Courages in your deck. Over maybe a Spirit Link might be okay. Spirit Link maybe could go on the sideboard. I can't remember which Umbra sucked. Griff Spoon I like. It gives you evasion. Ethereal Armor is necessary. Spirit Mantle is also really, really good. Maybe we have to get rid of the Spirit Link. It's a tight deck. I understand it's a tight deck. Like I'm saying, we have to bring in cards. Then we have to, I'm telling you, bring in a Leyline of Sanctity. Okay, I'm telling you, bring in Leyline of Sanctity, get rid of the Spirit Link. And I can't tell if the 2 Path to Exile are fine in the main. Because, I don't know what you want to Path to Exile these days. That shut you down or anything like that. Gem Razor suggestion. All right, what's a Gem Razor? Oh, but is this an aura? Cast a spell for its mutate cost, put it over or under target non-human creature you own. They mutate into the creature. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment opponent controls. This is possible. How expensive is it, though? Is it cheap? It's new. Okay, it's new and cheap. Maybe pick this up before this gets popular. I saw this in Hardened Scales the other day. Reach, trample, and when it mutates, and it's very likely that you will mutate on a creature because you've got hexproof. You got hexproof. So, and you know what? This could be a win condition by itself. You know what? I like this. Mutate for... I hope it's easy to mutate, though, because we might not have the mana base to support this. But try it out. Because we only have 12 green sources. That's not a lot. It's not a lot of green sources. That's hard to enable, even for mutate. 4 mana, it'll be clunky, but, you know, eventually we'll get it out. Anyway, thanks for the suggestion. I think you just need to play a little bit smarter to beat the hate cards, because that's all Boggles is afraid of. That's all Boggles is afraid of. So, sorry we can't get to everyone's questions and lists because they were so interesting. We don't have time for all of them, but don't worry. We have another Coffee and MTG every single day. Don't forget that we do this Mondays to Fridays, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm changing the time soon, though. I don't know what it's going to be. I'll try to figure it out for other people to join. If you love the morning show, give me your Amazon Prime. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. Give it to me. Give me all of the Amazon Primes. Now, I totally understand the streamers that are begging constantly for the Amazon Prime because you have them. You have them somewhere. So, and it's free. Anyway, you can also support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Nikachu MTG. I really enjoyed our discussion today. We saw a lot of cool lists, some things that I think have a lot of potential in Modern. There's a lot of experimentation and exploration that still can be done in Modern, but it's up to all of you to make the lists. And I understand it's hard building a proper list from the ground up when you're a learning player. There's always going to be cracks that you can't see because you haven't reached the level that the better players have in Magic the Gathering. But I hope I move you in a little bit better direction to get you where you need to be, and maybe we can see some of these lists become real things. Let's not forget, humans was around probably who knows for how long, and then it wasn't until like Magic Aids threw up, like regurgitated the right build, that it actually became a tier 1 deck even up until this day. So with that, thank you very much for watching, joining me today. I guess we got to send you out. We got to raid someone. That is the custom of the Twitch thing. Twitch.tv. Whoops. It's a bit loud. Usually I have my speakers off. Let's find... All right, here's a Modern player. Dito Guido. He's actually a Death Shadow Master. He's playing Bant Control for some reason. Let's send you off to Dito Guido. Really strong. If you're a control player, if you're like, I don't know if he's known for being a control player, but I know he's a really good attrition-based player. He's usually at the top of the leaderboards for trophies. He's incredibly strong. So I'm going to send you off to another expert on Magic. So now how do I raid? We're going to raid Dito Guido. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me today. We had a lot of fun. We had a really good discussion today. Great deck lists. I really enjoyed it. Love hearing the questions and deck list submissions from all of you. And I will see you next time. Take care. And yeah, take care. Bye-bye.